This video is going to show you how I do my springtime splits. It's really easy, and it's good to increase your numbers. It's also good to help with possible swarm prevention. So on the spring, you come in, you inspect this lower hive. You find that it's just packed full of bees. You've got some frames in there of brood, and you want to go ahead and make this split. It's actually really easy. Just remove your lid. Remove your honey super if you have a honey super on there, and remove your queen excluder. Now you'll need another hive to do this project, so I've got another hive body here, and what I do here is I remove 3 or 4 of these frames. Okay, I just set these off to the side, and these frames will be put back into this box once you remove some of those hives off of there. So what I do, just go ahead and set this over here, and then you go through here to start pulling off. Let me move this. Then you start going through here to find frames of brood. What you want to do is pull out frames that have capped brood, wet brood. If you pull off eggs, what will happen is when you put them in this box and move it away, that's kind of like doing a walkaway split, and the queenless colony will start to build queen cells off of those eggs. So there's really 2 things you need to determine what you want to do, if you want to do a walkaway split or if you want to introduce a queen. If you want to introduce a queen, look for frames of brood that are mostly capped. You don't want fresh eggs necessarily when you make that split. So to do that, I basically just start on the outside, pull the frame. This is likely going to be a food frame, honey, nectar, pollen. Probably not. You just check it to make sure the queen's not on there. You set that aside, go to the next one, do the same. It's probably food, pollen, and you just also set that to the side. The reason why you do that is you make a little bit of room here. I'm not necessarily looking for the queen. I know she's in there because she was under the excluder. But what I want to make sure is that I have space to shake the queen, the bees, and possibly the queen back down into this lower box. So I go and I pull another frame and I inspect it, make sure. If you can see the queen, it's okay to catch her and put her in a little clip and just set her off to the side. I like to do that if I can find her, because then I know I'm not shaking her down there and possibly injuring her. But on this inspection, I find that this is good brood. There's good food on it as well. So I just put it back in here and shake the bees off and go ahead and place that right here in the center of this box that's going to become your split. Now what I'll do is I'll do that multiple times, and I'll probably pull up 3 frames of brood. So I go ahead, pull up another frame, shake it off, put it in this box here. Another one, do it again, put it into this box here. Okay? Very simple. Then you take those frames from this box that are empty, ideally drawn out comb. You really like to have the drawn out comb. It's gold for beekeepers. And just replace those frames that you removed with those frames. Go ahead and reassemble this box here, putting in the frames that you had that had food in there. Now, you need to move this box over here. So you start with the excluder, because you want to keep the queen down in that bottom frame or that bottom box. Put your excluder on. Go ahead and set that box right back on top of that. And if you have a honey super, it doesn't hurt. You can go ahead and put that up on top here as well. Close it off. Then what you do is you wait a couple of hours. What that's going to do is all these nurse bees that are down in this lower box here will pass up through the excluder, and they'll jump onto those frames that have the brood. This is what you remove because you want those nurse bees on there. Okay, so after a couple of hours, Sometimes I wait a day and I do it the next day. I come back in, I have my bottom board, set up my bottom board, and I literally just remove the honey super, the lid first, sorry, the honey super, and then this box. Just pick it up, put it on this one here, put my honey super back up on this hive, close that off, take my lid for my other one, put it on that hive, and then I remove this hive from the apiary. As I introduce queens in this, these are nurse bees. They're on the brood. They've never really flown, so they will stay in this colony. But I like to remove these colonies several miles away. If you don't have that opportunity, again, you can just move it to another location in the yard. You don't necessarily want it right next to the old colony. But if there are any field bees that are in here, what they will do is they will fly out and they'll return to the main box. But I like to take it because I do like to have a few of the field bees that might be in there. But I'll take this and I'll remove it several miles away to another yard. I'll open it up and I'll introduce a new queen and I'll put her directly above that brood pattern. I do put her in there with a marshmallow in the cage. And that gives these bees a little bit of time to eat through that marshmallow and accept her as a queen. And that is literally how I make my spring splits. Thanks for watching.